1. That was your fastest lap of the session.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this is my first time touching the track, but I think I got a feel for it. It's very interesting. It's like a mixture of IRP a little bit with maybe a bit of Langley with how the ARCA car reacts on it, and a bit of Martinsville with how it corners. So this is going to be first lap, hot lap. I did a little bit of brake dragging. I don't think it did anything. I just did it as a customary thing. So to get the run up, you just kind of park your car up on the top lane here. And then once you see daylight of the exit, you just turn down and make a straight exit. So you'll see that. Pretty common with short tracks. I would say 90% of short tracks, this is what I do. So you see now I see the exit of the corner. So now I'm trying to turn down and straighten my wheel as quick as possible. And now I'm able to go full throttle super early. All right, so turn 1 here. I have a very high brake bias, as you saw, and why I did this high brake bias is I think it allows me to get a lot more aggressive on corner entry without giving up that much in the middle, because low brake bias was just so unstable that it wasn't like getting me anything. Like I was rotating, but I was looping it. So I had to be like extra careful to be on low brake bias, and it was like, I don't think this is getting me anything. So anyways, I'm going to be aiming left sides right on the white line. Just straight line braking. Remember, brake to slow down and then brake to rotate. So we're braking to slow down 50%, aiming at the white line. Once we hit that white line, we back down our brake to a brake drag trail brake to rotate. Even with the 75%, this setup has such a little grip that it's going to rotate. Now we drag the brake, let the car slide up a little bit if it needs to. Sometimes it'll just stick to the white line, and that's kind of good, but it also kind of throws off the rhythm of the rest of the corner. So you want it to at least slide up a little bit, to maybe like half a lane up. So once the car slides up, you kind of add your last bit of wheel. This is where in race run, I want you to stop adding wheel, but for a qualifying run, you can keep turning once you hit that white line here. So we're just dragging our brake, and then the moment we hit apex of this diamond, the car will make a weight shift going from wanting to slide up to the wall to wanting to come back down to the curb. The moment the car wants to go back down to the curb, you go to half throttle and you just hold it. Sorry, not half throttle, like 3/4. So I go 3/4 throttle, and you see I'm trying to miss this white line. So I'm actually adding more and more throttle to try to miss the white line. So why am I on high brake bias? Because I can't do this if I'm on low brake bias. My car is going to be so loose at this point under braking that I can't make this weight shift work to go 3/4 throttle and miss the white line. So if I was only going half throttle here, I'd probably hit the curb, but I'm trying to just barely miss the white line. And by doing a little bit more throttle, I just barely miss it, maybe get it a tad. And now I'm just trying to survive corner exit. So look at that one more time without pausing. Very weird corner, just like a mini diamond. Think about Dover Langley type of deal, but mini. So brake drag, throttle shift to half, raise it to 3/4 to stay off the white line, and then just hold that 3/4 throttle until you are pretty much on the straightaway, and then you can go full throttle. Okay. Now we are going to go to turns 3 and 4. Same idea on entry. I was experimenting with a lot of things. I experimented with a diamond, enter middle, diamond the corner. I was experimenting with like dive bombing the corner and diamonding, kind of like IRP. But no, I just like that same line that we talked about in 1 and 2. Get to the white line early, let the car slide up a tiny bit, and then bring it back down. Okay, so brake to slow down. We're at the white line, so we're dragging. Partial throttle, and it just sticks. This is one of the ones where it just sticks. It's easier to stick this white line in 3 and 4 than 1 and 2. So I didn't have to do anything about the car sliding up. So brake to slow down, brake drag on the white line, pick up partial throttle. I pick up partial throttle. It's kind of a feeling like, you see how the corner just seems a little tighter at this point, and then the moment I get past this one little notch right here, it just seems a little bit more manageable. Maybe that's just my eyes deceiving me, but to me, this feels more manageable of a corner rotation, and that's when I pick up the partial throttle. Because the whole goal is to limit how much we're using the steering wheel. And believe me, I am cranking the steering wheel. This is 12-1, I'm cranking the steering wheel, but we're going so slow that this isn't even that bad for tires, but that's kind of beside the point since we're doing qualifying. So I just want to get to that white line and stick to it. That's a little deceiving. That's the mini course, which is funny. Then partial throttle, same thing, hold the half. 3 and 4, you're going to have to hold the half a lot longer. I pretty much only hold half in 3 and 4 and then go full throttle when I'm on the straightaway. Very easy to slide up into the wall off of 4, especially with that angle, because it's a lot easier to take a shallow angle into 3 and 4 than 1 and 2. So just be mindful that you don't really want to up this to 3/4 until you are like almost off the corner. You see how late I got to 3/4 and then I got to full when I'm pretty much on the straightaway. But put that all together and you got a pretty darn good lap. So let's go take a look at the long run. All right, let's talk about long run for a bit. So the ARCA car on long runs is never really an issue as long as you are taking care of your rear tires. So front tires are sometimes come into play. I don't think they will here. You're going so slow in the corners that I just don't think you are. So what we want to focus on is driving these corners without ever sliding the rear tires. That is what's going to get you your speed at the end of the race. So what you don't want to do is overdrive corner entry and have to turn the wheel a lot in the center of the corner, because that will disengage the rear tires and cause you to slide, and all of that compounds. So I'm just going to be rolling these corners pretty much. Partial throttle, then once I'm on the straightaway, I'll go full throttle. Early brake, get to the bottom, just roll that bottom, let it slide up a little bit if it has to. You don't want to force too much steering wheel into it, or else that's another way to disengage the rears. You just want to get the car as straight as possible while still wrapping this bottom, and usually that's accomplished by just not overdriving the corner. Sometimes you have to track the car out a little bit, that's okay. You can do a little bit of a diamond like this. You kind of go up a little bit, then turn it back down the hill. And kind of make a straight exit like this. That works too. I think that will do a little bit more on the right front tire. So if you do that too much, I think the right front tire will start coming into play. I just really like this idea of using your stable braking to get to the bottom and then just rolling the bottom. Just roll the bottom, and if you slide up a bit, don't force it or else you're going to disengage the rears. Brake early, get to the bottom, roll it. Rolled on partial throttle. Never roll with no brake or throttle. When I say roll, I mean with partial throttle, because there's always some sort of input that you could be putting into the car to either help maintain its momentum or help rotate or slow the car down. Well, once we enter the corner, we have no issues with rotation and we have no issues with slowing the car down. So I'm just trying to keep the car's momentum at this place where I'm not losing too much time in corner center.
20.8.
There's partial throttle until I'm off the corner, then full throttle. And then you can actually make a lot of lines kind of work here. So like you can make the middle line work and then turn back down the hill like this. Some people are going to try that. In fact, it might get pretty good as the run goes on. But this is kind of risky. If you're good at not sliding your rear tires doing this line, then by all means, go ahead and try it, at least to like make up time or something. Because this line here is a lot easier to overstep than just rolling the bottom like so. Rolling the bottom like so, you're not overstepping anything, you can't overstep anything, and it's really more or less the same time. It's all about execution. I don't think one line is particularly faster than the other. I think it's harder to get the bottom like kind of right, but it's harder to get this middle line perfect because you can overshoot it a lot easier. You see how I overshot it by a little bit and I just lost like a 1/10 and a half and I couldn't make it up on exit. So in the end, it's kind of multi-groove. I can see you try to pass someone by like going high up here and then like trying to build a run and like turn down like this. Like that was pretty fast. You could definitely get a run on someone. That's how I would set up passes. But if you're just by yourself pacing, I really like this low line to just preserve both your front and your rear tires, and it's not going to lose that much speed. But I'll be honest, I've never done a race at Stafford before. This is my first time. I think I'll do fine. I think I get the feeling of this track already. But if something ends up changing, I will leave it in the comments and in updates for you guys, just to let you know. But I'm pretty confident with how this is going to drive. But we'll do one more lap here. We'll try for the bottom in here. We just have to slide up a little bit. We get some time, but we'll give it a lot back on exit because I got to run. But you see the bottom, you can just consistently keep your time on the bottom, whereas on doing that top line, trying to get the run off, it might be a little harder. All right, let's go check our tires now. We tried a lot of lines. We have high brake bias, so you would think maybe we're wearing our right front. But let's see. 98.98 after 12 laps. So I think that's pretty passable for this race. Probably end up on the high 80s, low 90s. That's where you want to end up for the race. It should be even tire wear on both sides. If it's not even, that means you're either pushing too hard on entry or you're just sliding all around on exit. And the first one is more right front wear and the second one is more right rear wear. And then if you do both somehow, then you're just going to have low tires. So easy enough. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will hope to see you all on the track.